So, what's the difference between an apple and an orphan?
I don't know what.
At least one gets picked. Welcome to Racing Home Podcast. You're joined by your hosts, Fez Bobber and Nick Ageter. Today we have a special guest, Dana Basinski, the reigning champ of ClubTR from last year and also moving into GLTC, so soon to be a GLTC champ. He has a bunch of trophies in his back, if you guys can't see. But yeah, welcome, Dana. Give us a little intro
How's it
about
going?
yourself.
Yeah, 2023 ClubTR champion. Been trying for that for like 3 years straight since the first year of it. So
Rest in
feels
peace,
good
Brian.
to finally get that knocked out.
Yeah, dude. It was great seeing you. Great battling with you every here and there. Last year it was a good time. I feel like the only time I beat you is when your car broke down, which happens.
Fair and square.
um, yeah, you did beat me at Midwest Festival with the shock literally coming apart.
Yeah, but you were right there though.
I was like 0.003 of a second away.
It was wild, yeah.
Transponder error. Like I feel like if I farted, I would have beat you. Or like did that go-karting trick where you just like duck your head down going over the
Yeah.
finish line.
Reach out and fold your mirror in.
Yeah, literally anything. But yeah, good battles, man. So tell us about yourself, man. What do you drive? What brings you to Gridlife? How long have you been competing and whatnot?
Yeah, so I drive a 2013 Subaru BRZ. I got rid of the worst part of the car right away, which is the Subaru engine. Put a Honda engine in there like it's meant to be. So, fun fact, it was actually like one of the first K-swapped 8.6 cars in the country. There were a couple before mine, but there were no kits out at the moment. So then Andy and I, and with some help from TF Works, giving us some mounts and whatnot, and some adapters, we had one of the first K-swap cars. And then while we were building it, Gridlife announced the ClubTR class because I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet.
So you were building it before the class was announced. You didn't
I
have a
was
plan to
building it
compete with
just
that.
as a track day car.
Ah, okay. I thought it was like
And
you
then
built that
while
car
it was
specifically
being
for
like, it
ClubTR.
was like a day from running, and
Uh-huh.
then they announced that, and we're like, well, we know what we're doing with it now.
Yeah,
So
that's
What
awesome,
class
actually.
would you have been in if not ClubTR with that car? I guess Street Mod?
street mod, I guess, yeah.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have done Gridlife, I don't think, if there wasn't a place for it, to be honest,
Mm.
because I'm too
Oh,
competitive.
makes sense.
You could have fit in street without the arrow, right?
No, because it's a mixed manufacturer engine swap.
Correct.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so I remember when you first announced your car and how you were working on with this ZF transmission that you guys were swapping in there with it. And yeah, the first time I ever competed with you and talked to you was Autobahn 2021. And yeah, like my goal was that weekend to just beat you. I was like, that's got to make it happen. It's his home track. To in with a case swapped car. I don't think I beat you. No, I don't think I beat you because you got like
I
what
think
was
I
it?
got 4th that weekend.
I got 5th that weekend, so I got close. Um,
And I was like wondering the whole time, like, who's this banana power guy? He's real
yeah,
fast.
yeah, that was a good time, man. And ever since then, you just like took off with that build. Like as that build progressed, as you progressed, I feel like you're the fastest, if one of the fastest, if not the fastest 8.6 guys out there. So props to you for that, man. So what have you done from the beginning to what it is now? Because you started off with a K24 with the ZF and just a hodgepodge of a swap to now what's in it?
It's still got the same K24 that was in it from day one. Same motor going on 4 years with that motor, no problem. So that's
Mhm.
cool. Say that about your FA20.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then we
Good stuff
switched
has
to
proven.
a S2000 transmission after the first year with the car because when we did the car originally, there was no adapter plate for a BRZ transmission.
Mhm.
And I didn't have a transmission anyways because I bought the car as an automatic.
Mhm.
So we converted it to a manual and used a BMW ZF 5-speed. And I thought in my head that the car would end up with a turbo, so that's part of the reason why I picked that right away. So I already had that before ClubTR was a class, and I thought that I needed a strong transmission because I thought I would end up with 400 horsepower at some point.
Mhm.
But man, and then we went into ClubTR, and that transmission just was so awful as far as gear ratios, and
Mhm.
how it shifted was just very poor. And we went through everything to try to get that transmission to shift quicker and better. And we did eventually figure it out, but it still was nowhere near as good as a stock S2000 transmission was. So in 2022, the
Mhm.
big change for the car was the S2000 transmission. And that change opened up a whole new page for the car because it was literally 1.5 to 2 seconds faster at every track just because of the gearing change.
You said 1.5, 2 seconds faster?
Yeah. Yeah,
Holy
like
crap.
literally go to Autobahn, drop to 2.5 seconds.
Jeez.
Yeah,
And
just
is your
from
diff
that.
still stock? It's still the 8.6 diff?
Last year I was borrowing a ATS Carbon
Mhm.
two-way diff. Actually, I might have even had that in 2022, and then now I'm back to the stock diff for now. But I'll eventually end up with another one of those, I'm sure.
So it's the 4.1 diff that you have?
Right now, yeah, I used a 410 ATS Carbon two-way for
Uh-huh.
most of the time, and then at Heartland in 2023, the last event, I tried out a 1.5 way with a
Mhm.
430, and that was a pretty good combo. I think I like that. If I were to
The
buy one,
1.5 way with
I would buy
4.3?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have right now. I have a 4.3 with a 1.5 way I was geeking, and I like it a lot. Um, have you driven a case-swapped BRZ with the BRZ transmission?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the major difference would be between the two, because S2K transmissions and BRZ transmissions, like I want to know what the ratio differences are, if it's similar.
Um, They are the transmission itself, the ratios are similar, but
Mhm.
the final drive of it is different. So to get it similar top speeds, you need to put like a 455 gear in the back. So you got to
Gotcha.
re-gear the car, which
Because
isn't
of the
that
high
big of
red
a
line.
deal. Yeah, probably
Yeah,
causing, yeah.
yeah. That makes sense.
But
That makes sense.
another thing about the BRZ trans is uh even a stock BRZ transit just won't shift as good as an S2000 transmission shifts in terms of like speed. Like you can
Yeah.
shift the S2000 transmission so much better.
That is
So
true. The 8.6 transmission does lack in that, but I've driven a few friends S2000s and they're pretty great. Like they don't need a short shifter.
no, no,
Yeah,
absolutely not. They're
yeah,
they're pretty good.
yeah. Um, 8.6 transmissions, it's pretty good. It's not a bad transmission, I'd say, but S2000 is just that much better. Um,
Ironically, I want to convert back to a not back to, but to a stock BRZ transmission just because of the consumables.
yeah.
Everything's a consumable when you're tracking your car
Hmm.
like exclusively, so transmissions become a consumable. And I haven't gone through an S2000 transmission yet, but it's starting to
Hmm.
get a little crunchy.
Hmm.
And to replace that is like $1,000, $1,200 for a used transmission, and they're all 20 years old now.
Hmm.
So, I mean, 15 years old at the very youngest transmission.
Hmm.
So, and these BRZ transmissions are, $300 on Marketplace, and they're all over the place,
Yeah.
and they're basically brand new.
And it's still the same transmission in the BRZ of the GR86 now, right? So like it's not going away. So
Yeah,
they're going to
that
continue to
becomes
make
one of
those.
the things you think about,
Mhm.
just consumables. Even the engine, at buying an FA20, I was looking at FA20s today, and they're like $4,000,
Mhm.
$5,000. Wild. I'm sure you can get one cheaper,
Yeah.
somewhere on Marketplace on some shady seller, but
That's my biggest concern with the FA24, right? Is the cost. It's five grand to get a FA24 if I were to blow it. So that someone asked me
yeah.
this question, and I'm going to ask you the same question here in a bit. Um, Now that we know the FA24 is capable, it makes about the same power as the K24 and about the same torque and whatnot. Does it make sense to swap a first gen with a K24 or an FA24? And I want to hear your answer to that before I answer that.
That's interesting. So I've noticed the FA24 tends to make roughly the same wheel horsepower, maybe just slightly more horsepower than a stock K24. Basically, a like for like FA24 to a K24.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make basically the same wheel horsepower, but the FA24 seems to make a little more torque, if you're comparing on the same dyno and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's appealing. I mean, if you're a competitor and there's maybe even if it's only 10 wheel torque advantage, that's an advantage that you're going to want. So if I were to do it, man, I'd probably put in an FA24 into a first gen if I'm honest.
If you were to redo your build, you would do an FA24.
It's hard to say. It depends because it's cheaper than a K swap. I mean, there's
It is.
no denying that. But one engine goes, and then it would have been cheaper to go K swap.
True. I mean,
So
I'm on my 3rd year on this engine though, so knock on wood. It doesn't. Nothing happens to it, but if it
yeah,
does, and I get 3 years out of it, I think that's decent. That's about what you would get with a K24 too, right?
it depends, man. I'm going on year 4 on mine, and I
Uh,
know other people going on even longer on a stock
mm,
unopened K24. But I mean, sometimes like look at these GLTC guys; they're going through a
mm.
K24 every couple weekends, it seems. And
Yeah.
maybe it's just some sort of assembly error that they're doing. Maybe they're just getting duds from the junkyard. I don't
Hmm.
know. Seems hit or miss though.
Yeah. Nick, what about you? What would you if you were to build a ClubTR car, let's say, or not even ClubTR car? I guess if you were to build a BR first and BRZ, would you rather swap a K24 or an FA24?
I've literally given this zero thought ever in my life.
I know.
So I'd be going down the route of whichever one is easiest, like minimal effort, put it in
Mhm.
and get it there on track.
So FA24. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
FA24. In that case, yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
So
just quick side note, I'm on year number 6.
we
But
see all the issues that you're dealing with. We had a whole podcast about it. So
yeah, that's all operator error. That's on me. Or the clutch.
um, so my answer to that question was depends on the usage. If you're trying to build an all out time attack car, I think K24 has better potential. You can boost it, you can add more power to it. It's still reliable at 400 wheel, right? Plus, it's like as we found out from our data gathering from like a couple years ago that it weighs about 80 pounds lighter than the FA24, right? And
Yep.
it moves the engine back more, so now you have basically no weight in front of the front axle, right? So in terms of what's a better car, better race car? It's the K24 to me. And then talking about the consumables, right? Over time, it's going to pay you back because now if you do blow a motor, it's like $1,000 versus $5,000. But if you're trying to build a dual duty car, then I think you should go with the FA24 because it's cheaper to do. It's like 5-6 grand to swap a FA24 or with FA20 heads or what do you want to do, right? Versus like 15-16 grand to do a K swap. So it's 10 grand cheaper roughly, and it's more compliant. It's easier to swap, and the car doesn't vibrate itself. The bolts don't vibrate off. The throttle body doesn't break off. The header doesn't crack. Like it's more reliable. It'll last you a longer time and less headaches for you to have in the long run. I think then you should probably maybe look into an FA24. That's where I was at.
Yeah, that's all true. Honestly, I have no regrets doing a K24. It's been really good to
Yeah.
me. But I think I think you could make an FA24 first gen be quite competitive in ClubTR, even though there's a bit of a weight discrepancy.
Mm-hmm.
The power is appealing. We got to catch up to
Yeah.
these front wheel drive guys somehow. They make more power than us, bar
Yeah.
none. No argument. They make more power, and they
Mm-hmm.
use almost always way less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Last year, I think. So FA24 in my car. So if FA24 in the second gen is making more power than FA24 in the first gen, the data that I've seen at least. Because I'm looking at dyno graphs of the first gen, they're making like 210, 215 with an FA24 swap with E85.
Probably stock ECU. Yeah.
I'm on stock ECU too, though.
I mean, oh, on the 85. Okay.
Yeah. So like I'm on stock ECU too. So in the GR86, it actually makes like 230 wheel. There's like a 10, 15 horsepower difference. I don't know why that the first gen isn't making as much power as the second gen with the same engine.
I don't think there's a reason. I think maybe it's just, if you had the same combo of parts with the same tuner on the same dyno on the same day, I think they'd make identical power.
Possibly, very possible. Yeah. But I know I made the same amount of power as the front wheel drive cars, or at least my
No,
top
you didn't.
speed. Dang. Maybe I'm on the same dyno. Maybe
You
you're right.
making north of 250 because the front wheel
Hell
drive
no.
guys are.
Well, Mario dynoed at 220 at Gridlife Midwest Festival.
When?
Midwest Festival last year.
Sure. Okay. I mean, yeah, some of
Does
these
that dyno read low? Is it still reading
maybe a
low?
little bit, but they're gonna say no because it's a dyno jet and it's perfect. It's the perfect dyno. But no, I don't know. I mean, these front wheel drive guys they're making more power.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on the dyno they read, but some of them are posting up 230, 240. I saw 260, but that dyno is a high reading dyno.
Who made
So
260?
he's running ClubTR this year.
I love how spicy this episode
Oh,
is.
snap. Who made, wait, hold on. It's like Mario? You got
No,
Mario?
no, but I heard what he makes too, and it's more than you.
Okay. Then you got Evan McLaren.
Silence.
And then you have Evan Weeder.
How many ClubTR events have we done this year? One of them?
One so far.
Just one? Who is the
Yeah.
fastest car?
Oh, McLaren? Oh, no, James Houghton?
James Houghton by a mile.
How's James Houghton
I wonder
making
who makes
that
the
much?
most power. Hmm.
How is he making that much power?
Well, if you put them all on the same dyno, that would tell the story.
Yeah.
Everyone's dyno is gonna
I'm
read a little different.
I'm still
And
down to
admittedly, it's probably a high reading dyno,
uh-huh.
but
Yeah, I mean, I'm still down to do like a whole dyno session for ClubTR. Like if we can do like a bulk order of, like if everyone does like top 10 drivers do a dyno session and just to see where everyone
we've
lands.
been saying we got to do that since the beginning, though, and it's never happened because there's no rule that you have to dyno in ClubTR. So
Yeah, but it's just for our sake. And if everyone just pays $50 or I don't know how much it is now.
I think it's over 100 now.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well,
I
if
could
we
be
do
wrong. It went up, I thought.
yeah, it did go up, I think. But if they agree to like a price for all of us, like top 10 guys, just to see, I'd do it. I'm not hiding anything,
Yeah, for sure.
you know.
Did you
But
put your car on the Gridlife dyno?
the last time I put my car on the Gridlife dyno was when my car was stock, and we put it back to back at NCM.
Your GR?
Yeah, it made 203, and I think you made like 205.
I
Or no,
made
you
215 at
yeah.
NCM. That was 2022
Uh-huh.
NCM. Yeah, I made 215, 175.
Yeah, I didn't even get my torque because they couldn't find the torque sensor for it. So
Gotcha.
they just didn't power. But yeah, it was interesting for sure. No, I mean I'm curious to see how the season goes with ClubTR. I did everything that I could minus take AC out. I just took 10 pounds out earlier.
I don't blame you for not taking AC out either in Texas.
Dude, it's not
It's
worth it.
brutal.
It's like 20 pounds, maybe, if that.
It's probably a little more, if you're taking your heater core out and everything. But
Yeah.
is it really worth it though?
No.
Probably not.
Like my car weighs 2550 without me in it. So 2750 with me in it now.
2750 with you. So you're only 35 pounds more than I was last year.
Yeah. So I have the power and I have the weight advantage now at this point too. So, and then I got better coilovers and SPL arms and whatnot. So I'm hoping that I don't have to deal with the same issues that I did last year. And there's some consistent podiums,
What
Most things
issues
don't stay.
last year?
Just the car was heavier. Like I was 2800 to 2820 last year, and then suspension wasn't set up right. So like I was like corner entry car was just sliding a lot, and I had a drift missile basically last year. I mean, you saw the footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not an easy car to drive last year, and it's kind of Now I'm finding the opposite issues, but I feel like I can drive around that better.
Sure.
So we'll see. We'll see. I'm doing another test day Sunday, but if it rains, then I'm kind of screwed. Then my first test day will actually be Midwest Rev Up.
That'll be me as well.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
actually pretty
so
wild to think how close Rev Up is. Like 4
it's
weeks away.
happening. 4 weeks,
Yeah.
man. Trying to get those transport windows ready for me so I can get I don't get rained on while driving.
That's fine. Was it saran wrap the
Did you buy
entire car?
plastic windows?
I cut out windows out of wood. I got like a 1/4 inch sheet of wood, and I just cut them out of that. You know,
How are you going to
Got
take them? How are you going to put them in and out of your car at the track?
I'm
How does that happen?
bolting them in.
So you unbolt them at the track?
Yeah, it's like 2 bolts.
Okay.
I can send you a STL file if you want to print some brackets that just let the window sit right on the top.
Ian sent that to me recently, so I'm gonna
Yep.
try that. Is this the same one?
Yeah. Yep. Same one.
Okay.
Shout
Yeah,
out
Ian
Ian.
sent that to
Thank
me.
you.
Shout out to Ian for sending us those files. Yeah, I'm trying to source a friend that has a 3D printer to print it for me. But yeah, dude. So
Wait.
go ahead.
All I was going to say is Richard has a 3D printer. Could he print it and then I bring it up to Dallas tomorrow?
Are you coming to Dallas tomorrow?
Yeah, because I'm going to Columbia. We're flying out from DFW to go to Columbia on Friday. I'll
If
message
he
Richard.
has
Y'all keep
time.
talking. Yeah, I'll message him
Yeah,
right now.
that'd be great. I can send it over the file. But anyways, so now you're done with ClubTR. You got the season championship. Now you're moving on to GLTC. How is that going? What's your goals for this year?
That's an interesting topic. I don't have a goal for this year. I just want to. Okay, that's a lie. I have a goal, but it's not a competitive goal. I'm not going and expecting to win
Uh-huh.
or even podium or even a top 10. I don't have an expectation of performance.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of do for myself, but I shouldn't. So I really haven't set a real a real number. I haven't set it.
Mm-hmm.
But my goal is just to keep the car clean. I don't want to cause any issues.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people, especially at CMP, I don't know. There's a bunch of drama going around of people being a little wild in GLTC at CMP. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be that guy. So my goal is to not be that guy. That's my goal.
That's a good segue to go into for our topic of today, which is having fun versus being competitive. So you've been very competitive last year, and then the year before you literally came down to like a tiebreaker the year before, right?
Yeah, yeah.
For season championship.
2022 was a tiebreaker between Grant and I, and Grant
Yeah.
won the tiebreaker.
So how do you think? So now you're coming into this year with a non-competitive interests, right? Now you're just trying to gauge where you are. Basically, is what you're gonna do, right? And not
Yeah.
create drama. So do you think there's like less stress on you? Do you enjoy this process more, or do you enjoy the constant winning? Like maybe not constant winning, but more or less like constantly trying to win process.
I enjoy being competitive,
Uh-huh.
but it is stressful, man. I mean, you put everything into it.
Mm-hmm.
Just every moment that you have is going into doing something to make the car better, improve your setup, something.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you win, a couple times, then there's an expectation on you when you get to the track that you're going to win again or you're going to do really good. And what if you don't? Then it makes you
Mm-hmm.
feel bad. So this year, it's nice because I'm only doing 4 events. I can't win the championship because I won't have,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do the final event at pit race. At least I don't have any plans to right now.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, there's no reason in being super try hard about trying to finish well in GLTC, especially like a rookie year into it.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, it's pretty nice. I don't have to stress about trying to win anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to do as good as I can, but I'm not going to, you know, beat myself up over not doing as good as I wanted to.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of nice.
Yeah. No. And I think that's kind of going similar to Ben Thorne, right? He was top of Club TR, and now he's in GLTC, but he's not top of GLTC. He's like somewhere in the middle or top of like top 10, top 15, right? I think it's different for sure. Like the stress levels the expectations cannot be same for time attack versus GLTC. You have to come up with a new mindset, right? Like you can't expect because you're winning one, you're gonna win the other one too. To me, going back to your point, like being at the top is stressful as fuck to me, right? Like because I
Yep.
was fourth, I wasn't even that like first place. Like he came first, but I know amount of effort and time and it took you to get there. Like, and I also noticed when like the year 2022 season, it was more stressful for you than 2023 season because you had Grant in the running, right? You had someone like who was right next to you the entire time, and it
Yeah.
coming down to tiebreaker.
2022 probably was a little bit more stressful just because it was
Mm.
close. It was so close.
Yeah.
Every event. There
Hmm.
were 2 events where the difference between Grant and I was less than a tenth of a second
Hmm.
at the end of the weekend, which was
Mhm.
wild. In 2022, we didn't have podium sprint either, so it was all weekend was stress. There
Yeah.
was no, "All right, I got a banker lap in. I'm in that
Mm.
podium sprint. Now we just gotta focus, preserve the car."
Uh
Nope,
huh.
none of that. Every session was, like,
Hmm.
all out, and even if the track was bad, if the track was so hot, you're like, "Well, there's probably still some room for improvement,
Hmm.
probably not, but if it's out there and you don't try, you're gonna beat yourself up about it." So it was
That's what happened
stressful.
to Grant, man. 2022 Autobahn, he slept through one of the sessions. Not
That's
slept through literally, but
exactly
he was
right.
like, "I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go," and then you beat him, and then he beats himself up about it, like to this day. Um, that's just the competitiveness that's not just what comes with the whole competition, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about this on chat earlier about like what do I want to do in the future as well, and do I want to stay competitive and whatnot. And I think I know you are like this, and I know I'm like this. We enjoy the competition. We are very competitive people, and we'll do whatever it takes to be the top person. You know, whether it's if you can't be the top person, you'll put like a target and like, okay, I want to be faster than that guy, or something, right? To
Yep.
or the next person. That's your competition. And we enjoy the back and forth. You probably enjoy the back and forth with Dana. Not Dana, sorry, Grant. You are Dana. Like I I enjoyed the back and forth with Pete and Stan last year, right? Like it was stressful, it was very stressful, but like man, like we were always so close. And even the season championship, I think I was off by like maybe 10 points from no, not 10 points. Less than 5 points between me and Stan, right?
Yeah, it was
If I had
close.
if I got like one P3 in the season, I would have gotten gotten P3 over the overall, right?
Yep.
Um so we do enjoy that, but it does come with drawbacks of like you kind of have to give up on life a little bit.
You don't give up on life, but it does become your life.
It does become your life. So other things kind of have to take a backseat, whether it's your career, your family, your. I mean, you have Emma, but Emma comes to all these events, so it's like you're still hanging out with her in a way, right? Even though she might be really busy on those events,
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, and if you don't have, and like Nick has Carol who comes with him every single event too, but if you don't have a partner that's supportive, it makes it difficult. I bet it will probably make it difficult. I don't know. That's probably why I don't have a partner. I don't know. Right? Like it makes it difficult because it puts a strain on your relationship. It could put a strain on your relationship. We've seen it in Gridlife, that people are when they're at the most competitive level, it takes everything and adds a lot of stress. So when do you start having fun? Where's the fun part? Like yes,
I think
being
that is
competitive
the
is
fun.
fun. That is the fun, but then is it fun to um sacrifice other things for this like it used to be wooden trophy, but now we got cool trophies. But like this is one trophy. That's really what it is. We're
No,
not
I
getting
thought
paid for
about
this.
this in the sense that, if you ever thought about this coming home from an event and you
Mhm,
you did well, you feel good about that event, but you're just drained, just mentally drained from trying so hard, and you're
mhm,
like, "Man, I gotta, like, take it easy." Maybe next season, I
mhm,
just I just don't try so hard, just go and enjoy it, because I
mhm,
still enjoy being there,
mhm.
but you're really there to try to do well, like,
Yeah,
ultimately. I'm not going to get mid-pack, I can't do that. But you know, when you're on your way home and you're thinking, I got to take it easy. And then 2 weeks before that event, you're like, all right, let's do this. We got to get P1 here. You can't get it out of your mind. You got to go in.
Yeah, and same thing here. Like, I mean, man, I told myself, and one of our very, very first podcasts for this season, Nick and I were talking about what our modifications and goals for the year. It started off with like, I'm not gonna spend a lot of money. I'm not gonna do this. I'm just gonna take a chill. Like, I'm gonna repeat what I did last year. I think I've spent more this year than I have last year at this point.
That went all out the window.
It went out the window because every single day I was like, oh, maybe I can do this thing better. Oh, I can do this thing better. Oh, I can make the car faster this way. Like when your mind is just turning, you're just trying to think of like ways of how you can go faster. Like I took out 2 airbags today, right? I didn't care about it last year. I didn't care about it for 2 years. I didn't care about it today, like for most of this season. But I was like, wait a second, I can take those out. I just need to figure out how. And I don't know how much it's going to weigh, but that's like that could be
It's
the 10th of a
something.
second, right? And
Yeah.
that was 10 pounds. 10 pounds out of the car, right? Because I think that like that's just in our nature to just keep trying and like yes, we say that because we get so tired at the end of the season that we're like, ah man, I'm just so tired. I want to take a break. And then the season starts coming. You start seeing other people drive on track, seeing the other improvements that other people are making, and you're like, ah shit, I can't just sit like you can't be a sitting duck.
I relate 100%.
Yeah.
I want to know Nick's perspective on this though, because he seems like your car is still very streetable. You could definitely be going wild with that and make it a meta, street class build, but you really haven't. So are you happy just, going to enjoy the event mostly, or do you want to be up there too?
Yeah, first part, what you just said, the first part, going to the event just to be at the event and have a good time. And effectively, like, I'd actually might be okay going out to these events and doing HPDE because me personally, I just have the personal goal of going out there and setting a PB for seeing where I stack up. Now, the reason I do time attack is because it would piss me off to go and set a time in HPDE and then look over my shoulder and be like, fuck, that would have had 5th place or 4th place or somewhere around there. And so I honestly go out to these events, not really looking over my shoulder at the people, but looking at myself and always trying to do a better time for myself. And wherever I end up, that's where I end up for the weekend. But that mentality means I'm not pushing every weekend. I'm not pushing every month, every off season. This has been the busiest off season I've ever had, but that's because the car needed a lot of work. It's up there in mileage, and I've been putting off a bunch of maintenance. But then also I'm not stressed. So no matter what, I'm going out and having a good time. And I'm very fortunate that the package of myself in the car I sometimes gets 5th place or 4th place, or not 3rd, not at Gridlife. But I'm kind of still doing Gridlife and chasing that elusive podium. I didn't say that last year, but now I'm starting to say that just because like I'm seeing who is on the podium at some of these events, and I'm sometimes faster than them. So there's a chance. That's all I'll say.
Have you gotten a podium at a Gridlife?
Nope, not at Gridlife.
I think once you get a podium, it's all over.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it bites
It's
you.
the bug.
That's what. Yeah, that is the closest I came was at PPIR. The last time we went out, Fez, was in PPIR in 22, I think. I was sitting in 3rd place for the whole weekend up until Sunday, the last session, and then got pushed out into 4th place. But nonetheless, yeah, it is addicting. But I also try to keep a level head, and I try to balance other stuff in life. Like I still need to make sure that the mortgage payment on this house gets paid. I can't funnel a bunch of money and go negative.
No, you can do it. Everybody else did. Write the check.
I can.
Swipe the card. You got to win.
I'll be sleeping the focus, not because I want to, because I'll have to at that point. So it all depends on what you want to do, what your goals are. My goals are just to have a good time, and the other reason I go to Gridlife events is for the after party, for the off-track shenanigans, socializing, hanging out. That's a really big reason why I go, not just for the competition. And that's why I said like I would still go for HPD because like the social aspect is still there. You don't need to be in time to hell. Fuck, I might even do drifting. I don't know. It looks like a lot of fun, but I do time attack because I do enjoy pushing myself and seeing where I stack up.
Dana brought up a good point. We've talked about this a bunch of time on Nick and I, my personality. Nick is not a competitive person, right?
Nope.
Like Nick is just there to have fun. That's his thing. But I feel like he is like that because, like as Dana mentioned, you've never gotten a podium.
No,
You've been in there
that's
close
true.
to it once, but
Mm-hmm.
because there's no expectations in your head of like, I don't want to get a podium. Like it's not that you don't want to get a podium. It's more that like you can't do it, or at least you couldn't before because your car wasn't there.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that your car is potentially at that point where you can get podiums, you
You know what? Here's another aspect too. Previously, I never. So okay, last year I had the expedition for the first time for the whole year. So like a reliable tow rig,
uh-huh.
which means that I can put the focus and myself into riskier situations or like go faster than I comfortably would. Because there is in the back of my mind where I would be driving the car out to the events, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, I need to make sure I get this thing home. Like this is my transport back home. If not, then like it's gonna suck trying to find a way to tow it back home.
Mm-hmm.
But last year, and Carl saw this, I was willing to push the car a lot harder and drop tires in the dirt sometimes because I was trying to find the next, I don't know, tenth of a second. No, I wouldn't have done that if I had to drive the car out there. But because I had a tow rig, it's like, worst case, I get some black marks on the side of the car, I fix it up, and we do it all over again the following year. But anyways, just to say that I am pushing myself harder now because I have another means of getting home.
Yeah, makes sense. And then Dana, to your point from our chat earlier about like I think in this conversation I've kind of also realized that yes, being competitive is fun, but there's something about stress-free fun, and I think that was like what I was trying to maybe get at is that maybe I want a year of stress-free fun.
I
Because
don't
Go
think that
drifting.
exists, man.
Drift car. Fred's is gonna build a drift car. He's just gonna
dude,
have stress.
drifting is it's so fun. The small taste I've gotten of drifting, it's like you're just sliding, and then it's just a good time. You know, I don't know. You would
Yeah.
just if you can do tandems with your buddies, that's awesome. But I agree, it is difficult because I feel like if I did that, I'm saying this now, but if I going 6 months later or a year later, and I'm like back in this position, I'm like, I could do this, and then and then you're back to square one. You're back to being competitive, and you're stressed out.
That's exactly right. I don't think it exists. I think you go buy a street GT car and it's just what you want, and you're
Uh-huh.
just gonna go and have fun with it, stress free, drive it there, put down some
Mm-hmm.
decent times and drive back. But then you look at those times and you're like, man, I'm only a second off of this guy. I
If I
think
just
I
put
could get
in,
there just a set of
Yeah.
tires away. And then that turns into, man, if I just had some coilovers on this, I
Mhm.
mean, this is a podium car right here. And
Yeah.
you're down the rabbit hole before you know it.
yep.
I
So
guess
I
we'll
don't
find
think
out.
stress-free fun exists. I think you're just putting it off in your head.
But at least those modifications won't come till a year later.
Doesn't
At
matter.
least. At least. Like I'm not gonna be like I'm not rich enough to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna drop $5,000 on coilovers right now because I know this car can do it.
Man, if you
Yeah.
had a suspension sponsorship or something, that'd be cool.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, Inertia Labs, hook me up, man.
Hey, so actually,
Um,
I have a question, real quick. So, Dana, so you enjoy the competitive nature going into GLTC. Do you think you're gonna be less or more or the same stress level?
I think I'm gonna be less stressed out about my performance competitively. If I'm down in the, 10th to 20th spot, I'll want to improve, but I'm not gonna be, doing everything I can possibly do to get, as close to a win as I can, just like I was in ClubTR. If I was down,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2021, I was down in, fourth, fifth, sixth, depending on the event. And I didn't like that. I was there to try to be competitive and it wasn't working. So I put everything I could into it. But now in GLTC, I think it's going to be really nice not worrying about getting a win, at least not now. Maybe in a year or two, maybe we can get to that point. But right now, I just want to go. I want to get some wheel to wheel experience. I want to have a good time. And the stress level with GLTC will come from just worrying about being that guy that I don't want to be. So I'll stress out about accidentally, bumping into somebody, but I'm not going to be stressing out about trying to chase a podium. I don't think. I say that now. Ask me in a year.
Watch
You never
him
know.
get like top 5 in the first race, and then it's just game over. All this stress is gone. Like is back.
No, I'm not going to lie. I had a dream the other day that I was fastest in qualifying at Midwest Fest and I won the first race off pole. And that's just a dream, but I'm just saying, like,
Dude,
maybe
it's possible.
foreshadowing? I don't know.
It's possible because like half of the race is qualifying great, right? Because if you qualify well, you're already in the top 5.
Qualifying is just time attack. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. You're already good
I
at
can
that.
do that.
Yeah. So if you're already starting in front of everyone, you just got to hold off your position.
That's right.
Get some big ass elbows.
You just got to defend. Just bring some sticks and just poke him out the car.
I love it.
Ooh, those like giant like hubcaps that you see around New Orleans or around Houston that stick out like 4 feet off the
What,
wheels?
donks?
Yeah,
Is that what they call donks?
something like that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to read the rules about that
Oh,
one.
oh no, swangas. Swangas. I think that's what they call swangas.
Oh,
Like
yep. Yep. You're right.
yeah.
Buzz knows.
You gotta put, dude. It's the vibe, dude. You gotta put some swing wheels on there.
I still like time attack though. I
Mm,
could still see myself doing time attack, but I would want to do it in a faster car.
yeah, makes sense. I think that's kind
Street
of where my
class
too.
would be a good time. I have a
Yep.
daydream of doing an S2000 build for street class
I'm
Yeah, weren't you
surprised no
talking
one
about it
has.
recently?
because it's turbo dominated right now.
Yeah.
How would an
But
S
you
two
can have
thousand fit?
motor. S2000?
Yeah, like would you have to do like a K24 with a K20 head? Is that allowed?
Yeah, you can do built motors in
That
street
would be
class.
fine. Yep.
Ah,
So I mean, go drop a ton of money on a high power, like a 4-piston
mm,
K24, make, 290, 300 wheel, maybe a little more.
mm,
You can fit some 285s on it with the perfect offset wheel. I don't think you can do flares, so you're gonna need like some super rare perfect offset wheel to fit them, but I'm sure you could do it. Some CR aero, that car would be like 2,600 pounds.
mm,
Basically, it'd be like 500 pounds lighter than any Evo in the field there. You'd be 100 horsepower down, but you'd have wider tires because you're a rear-wheel drive car instead of all-wheel drive. I think they can
mm,
only run 255s.
mm.
So you're gonna have a huge handling advantage. So certain tracks, I'm pretty sure you could beat these Evos with a high power S2000.
Autobahn, you
That's my
can't win.
daydream right now in street class. I'm never gonna do it, but that's my daydream.
I feel like Autobahn and Gingerman are the two tracks that's kind of a equalizer track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mid Ohio, you'd never beat them there. Road America, never.
I'm worried about Road America.
How come?
Autobahn, CM, all these handling tracks would be
Yeah.
super fun to try to hang with a 400 horsepower Evo.
I was thinking about a street build as well recently,
Tell
because
me,
I don't think anyone's done this yet. But a 718 Cayman.
Yep.
would that fit
Like
in street though? Because there's a price cap.
What's the price cap in street?
I think there's a price cap. Otherwise, you'd be in
85,000.
street GT.
Oh yeah, it'll fit easily. Cayman S is like 80 something, so it does fit. So if you can get a Cayman 718 Cayman S with a turbo 4, tune it, put GT4 RS Aero on it.
That's good.
It's
That might
and
work.
you got 285s as well because it's a rear wheel drive
Yep.
car.
Yeah.
That would be a solid car for street.
The 2.5 turbo.
I think it's a
Cayman?
2.5 turbo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much it makes. Nick, can you pull it up on?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I'm pretty sure it's 85,000.
While you're
I'm
doing
pretty
that, I'm
sure
gonna.
these Caymans with a tune and E85 downpipe or whatever. I'm pretty sure they make over 400.
Yeah, 450.
Oh shit, 450? Oh, I'm nowhere near that.
Someone's making 450 with the Cayman S with a tune.
There you
That's
go.
impressive.
Do that.
That would be
There's your no stress build.
build.
How much does
the
a Cayman
Cayman S
cost?
build though.
So the MSRP is 85,000.
Of a Cayman S?
MSRP cap. MSRP
Oh,
cap
okay, gotcha.
for street class.
Gotcha.
So whatever they came out brand new.
All right, so the end result, they're saying it was 405 wheel horsepower and 382 foot-pounds of torque at 22 pounds of boost on 93.
And how much does the car weigh?
The 17 Cayman S, weight. Stock weight is 2976. Oh, that's a 2008 one. Never mind, sorry. 2023 Cayman S weight. 3086.
That's not that bad. That's about the same as an Evo.
Yeah. That would actually be really, really good. But MSRP.
And you get full aero. You know?
Yep. Yeah.
All right, are we doing it? Nick, let's do it. Screw your Focus RS. I'll build it with you.
Let me enjoy it for at least one more year.
All right, next year, Nick. Next year. We're selling both of our cars and we're going in on one car because we can't afford a Cayman S that's that modified.
Both of our cars are about this price.
Pretty much, yeah.
PDK or manual?
I could talk forever about all these like possible like class killer builds. I love that stuff. And like loophole rules. I like the loophole rule talk too.
Cayman S MSRP is 75,400. So 10 grand below the cap.
There we go.
Gridlife is becoming more and more of a who has the most money race, right?
Okay. The people who go and say that this is a grassroots motorsports, I'm sorry, but like, people are rolling around in toter homes. Like, these toter homes are costing as much as or more than a lot of people's homes. So, how grassroots can that be?
When someone is bringing 2 or 3 cars to the event to drive 3 different classes, and with a full team, I don't know.
I am joking, but like at the same time, it actually is still grassroots in the sense that it is people's hobbies in a way that's getting there. Like they're not total race teams. Kind of.
I feel like it's grassroots if you're mid-pack.
That's true.
That's a good way to put it. I say it's grassroots if you make it grassroots because you can buy a normal price. You can go buy a stock GR86 and show up and run, ClubTR and get mid-pack and drive it home, and you're going and competing, and that's a grassroots level right there.
Yeah.
But you can also make it whatever you want. You could put $100,000 into that car and show up in a toter with a stacker trailer.
Yeah,
with a spare car.
If that's the income that you have to spend on a hobby, absolutely. I will say that like Gridlife is the pinnacle, in my opinion, pinnacle of grassroots for
Gridlife or GTA. Who is at a higher caliber, Gridlife or GTA?
I feel like GTA builds are more money in general on average.
True. I agree with that statement. It's the money aspect that.
I mean, there's a lot of money in both. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But on average, I feel like I've never been to a GTA event, but just watching the streams and whatnot, they look like some expensive builds.
I feel like the people that had the expensive builds in GTA are also doing Gridlife and vice versa.
Yeah, probably.
Like, look at Jackie Ferris.
Yeah.
Who else? Eric Fleming with this new build.
I think the people that are doing GTA that are doing Gridlife, it's the top 5 of Gridlife that are doing GTA.
Top 5 in Street Mod, Track Mod, and Unlimited.
Correct. Yeah.
Because like below that, there is no class that fits that works for both.
No. Like my car fits into enthusiast class at GTA events.
Yeah. Mike.
I want to know what you guys are looking forward to most for this year. Because it's basically starting right now. We're like just getting into the season here. And like besides driving yourself, like I'm super looking forward to Street Mod. I think Street Mod's such a cool class to watch. So like Dewey took it over last year, and now Alex Moss coming back with Super K. And I'm sure there's going to be a couple other builds that I don't even know about showing up.
So actually,
Street Mod is highly contested.
Speaking of Street Mod, did you watch the? I'm assuming you watched the stream from CMP, the track sprint, or the podium sprint. Street Mod podium sprint, that red EcoBoost swapped Mazda Miata, no arrow.
Dude,
Seeing that guy like
so
wing it around, dude. I was stunned. I was like, hold on, this is Mazda Miata. He's in Street Mod. There's no arrow. and then I looked it up. And yeah, podium sprint top 5. Like, dude, this guy was fucking wheeling that thing, and the car must have been pretty damn quick in the straight line. But I got to give a little plug shout out to my tuner Brian, because he tuned that EcoBoost swap Mazda.
That's cool. That thing looks super fun.
That is my motor inside a ND Miata. I'm like, that's one way to have some fun. Are there any? So like you said, you're looking at Street Mod. Are there any specific competitors that you're looking at?
I'm just excited to see the battle between Dewey and Alex Moss.
Well, we got new competitors in the mix too. We got Colin McHugh, who's done a lot to his car, and then now Alan Patton.
These Supras, CMP. Who was what? One said they were like 800 horsepower. In Street Mod.
Mm-hmm. That's insane.
I'm just saying, this is going to be it's going to be some serious competition here. It has always been, but it's not getting any lower.
Because Alan Patton has the yellow Supra, I believe, which is 800 horsepower, and I think Kyle McHugh also dynoed. He shared his dyno with the 830 or 730, one or the other.
That's wild.
With meth and everything, but then he was having like AFR issues and whatnot. Like my tune's fucked, my AFR's fucked. The whole interview with GTA. I think it's interesting because you're pushing the limits of that B58. When you're at that point, you're gonna have reliability issues, right? And I'm curious how that affects these competitors. On paper, these cars are going to be wicked fast, but are they going to be consistently fast? And that's what you need in these time attack competitions now. Because podium sprint, I was talking to someone else about this. It's like, it's not a bad matter of like you just said one time you're done now. You got to be consistent, because if you like get to a point and you get into qualifying or podium sprint and your car breaks down, you're automatically 5th. There's not even a question of you even being top 3.
Yeah, I like that format actually, but it's maybe not completely true time attack per se, but it's very interesting. So, although I got to say about the B58, like they're definitely pushing the limits, going 800 horsepower as a track car. But have you heard of any B58 failures on track? Like on a HPD time attack type?
I have not either.
I've heard of people blowing up drag cars, but they're all 1,000+ horsepower, with giant turbos and everything. But I've never heard of a track car super blowing up yet. Just saying. I'm sure it's happened, but it's not
blowing
common.
up. But he was having a ton of issues at GTA. Kyle was.
Oh.
Right. And I don't know if it was just because it was a fresh tune, or what was a main root cause behind those issues. But I think 800 is a limit, man. Like you're pushing it, because you need a lot to get to that point. You can't do it on the stock transmission. You can't do it on the stock turbo. A lot of upgrades have to go into that to get it to that point.
Yeah, but if you got it to that point, you got the money to figure it out. If something fails, you just figure it out.
True that. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to Street Mod as well. Street Mod and ClubTR are the 2 classes I'm looking forward to this year.
I'm always looking forward to new ClubTR builds. Even though I'm not going to be in it anymore, I'm going to be watching it real close.
For sure. I think there's going to be some interesting builds in it. Mike Bryant is coming in with his NC with a K24. And now it's a shakeup, right? Like you're gone, Grant is gone, Evan isn't really competing as much anymore. So now you got McLaren, Mario, myself, Stan, Ian.
I think James Houghton is doing a whole season. So if I had to put my money on someone, I think he's gonna be the force to be reckoned with.
Keep forgetting about him. But yeah, like it's anyone's game,
I'm expecting to see James up at the top often. Mario, you,
Mhm.
and Stan are like the ones that just pop into my head.
Peter.
Peter's gonna be up there for sure.
It's a lot of competition. It's gonna be a
There's some
heavy
fast cars in
competition.
ClubTR now.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm getting nervous thinking about it.
See, that's good, but it's gonna fuel you, and you're gonna have to go get a win now.
Nah, it's gonna make me push the car even more, and I'm gonna like not drive good. um, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. This season could basically make it. This season's gonna decide what I'm gonna do next year. Yeah. So
I'm just saying, if you're getting that taste of what you want, I think you're gonna go all out again next year.
no, if I get like let's say if I get first place or top 3 in the season this year, I'm definitely going somewhere else next year. I think that I just want to prove to myself that I can do it, and then I'm moving on to another build because I want to try something new. I just want
That's
to try
fair.
something new. That's pretty much it, right? Like I've had the 86 chassis for 10 years.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I'm looking forward to, like just for myself, is seeing how street class shakes up and looking at CMP. Second place through 9th place. We're all within a second of each other.
Wow.
So street class is pretty competitive. And then there's Luca in first place, 4 seconds ahead of second.
4 seconds ahead.
He did a 39.0, and then second place did a 43.6. Yeah, 4 seconds ahead.
Who are the top guys in street right now? We got Luca. We got Mike Calloway.
Mike Coons. Here, I could just share my screen right now.
Well, that's in CMP. I'm checking general.
Yeah,
Oh,
you'd
in
have to look
general.
at the results from last year, the overall.
Yeah, look at the results for overall last year.
Pulling it up. Point stand. Oh, this is probably going to pull up 2024, not 23. Shoot. Now that the season started, how do I pull up last year's?
Just look Google 2023 season.
There's go to time attack and
Results and
there's
records. Here we go.
yeah.
There you go.
23 season points.
I feel like street class is kind of getting slept on lately because everyone just focused on street mod and unlimited.
I don't think it's slept on, but
Fine for me. Just kidding. But yeah, last year, Joe, Luca, Tony Barber, Eddie
Model 3,
Siegel,
wow.
Josh Halka. Aaron's pretty quick. He was out at Laguna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So top 10. A lot
is
of these
Ben
are
Lin
shown
in
back up.
street or street mod?
Ben Lid was in street. So he
That's
got
fast
he
car.
got put in sprint and then DNF.
I watched that. Yeah, I mean, if he can put it together, that's definitely a contender right there.
100%. Actually, let me see what his fastest times were for CMP. Because I was only looking at time attack points and which just includes your fastest times from qualifying or the podium sprint. But time attack overall results, we can see where Ben Lin actually ended up. So if I'm reading this right, what 140? Yeah. So he is a second place or a second off of what Luca did in the podium sprint. Luca did 38.8.
38.8 to a 40.1. What little over a second.
1.3. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
So he's
a big
quick.
gap, but it's not too big.
Yeah.
It's a big gap, but like who else? Josh Halka.
It's also the
Yeah.
beginning of the season, right? Like everyone's going to develop
Yeah.
and get better over time.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Street is looking very competitive too. You got Josh Halka, you got Ben Lin, you got Luca, Mike, you, Nick, Eddie.
Bro, I haven't showed up yet. You don't know.
I mean,
Might be
eventually
last.
could be honestly. With your boost cover popping off all the time.
It should be holding. Yeah, Luca, Josh, Ben.
Yeah.
Tim. So we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, like for me personally, if the Focus RS did not exist, I have a soft spot for Subaru hatchbacks, so like the 2011 to 2014. I know Subaru motors, yada yada, they break, but nonetheless, like I love Mike Kuhn's build. So like for me personally, I really want to see if I can put my car around him. Last year, he would freight train down all the straights, and that was one of the reasons why I went for E85 this year, to try to push more power in, get close. We'll see. He has an aftermarket turbo. I don't. I'm still stock.
All right. Well, we're at about the hour mark, so I think it's a good time to conclude the episode. Good conversation. So in conclusion, there is a difference between being competitive and having fun that way versus a stress-free competitiveness.
Let me put it another way. There's a difference between being competitive and being Nick.
Nick just hasn't gotten a podium, and I think he needs to get a podium to understand.
Yeah.
Which he will, hopefully, this year.
We'll see. Dana, when is your next race event that you'll be seeing at a Gridlife event? When's your next Gridlife event?
You will see me doing GLTC this year at Midwest Fest, at Road America, at Lime Rock, and Audubon.
Sweet. So Fez and I will see you at Midwest Fest and Road America. And Fez, if he ends up going to Lime Rock, over there as well. Oh, and Audubon.
Likely going.
Dude, at the beginning of the year it was only 4, and now it's looking like 20 events, whatever is on the calendar for Fez.
I feel like I'm gonna go to Lime Rock, but I'm gonna go with a different mindset. I'm not gonna go with the intention of winning. I'm gonna go with the intention of just trying that track, because the track looks scary, and I feel like
that track is so fun.
I've
that
heard
was the
really
highlight
fun.
last year for me was Lime Rock. That's why I'm going back.
Is it? I mean, there's a lot of risk of crashing, though, isn't there?
Only if you crash.
Well, no shit, Sean.
Yeah, but you've been to a lot of tracks with risk, like Mid-Ohio, NCM.
Yes, but I just feel like Lime Rock is that much more to me. Because it's all fast-paced. You're in 4th gear the entire time. I don't think. But is there a time that you shifted to 3rd or 2nd?
You go down to 3rd. Like turn 2, 3, 4, or whatever it is. The left-hander and no name straight to turn on to that, I think. But but
it's really
super
just top
fast.
Of 3rd and 4th, right?
It's top of 4th a lot of the time, and then you're top of 5th into turn 1.
Oh, jeez.
So I like to put it into perspective. At Road America with my car, I did 133 peak speed during my best lap. At Lime Rock, I was only 6 miles an hour lower than that, and that is a super short track.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like
that's
you're almost Road America speeds.
Jim wants me to co-drive his Sunday Cup fit there.
Do it.
So, so we're thinking like just doing like a fun event if that happens. It depends on how I'm doing in the season. That's fine. But I definitely think I'm gonna, if I do that just for fun, I'm gonna do Audubon for a competitive event because I generally do good at Audubon.
Audubon will be good.
Yeah.
I'll be doing a street mod at Audubon too in another car.
Ooh.
So that'll be
give
fun.
us a hint? What car?
It's an 8.6 with the right engine and a spinny muffler.
Oh, I know whose car you're driving.
All right,
and it might even have an auto trans.
On that note, we will end the podcast. Find out on the next episode of what Dana is going to be driving and whose car is he driving and what has happened to that car.
Yes. Sounds good. Thank y'all for coming on. Dana, do you have any last words? Anything you want to plug?
No, thanks for having me. Shout out to ASM for keeping my car on track. And GXP Performance for always helping me out, hooking me up. Reinhardt Suspension. Zebulon.
Awesome. Well, Dana, thank you so much for coming on here. Always a good time. Fez, did you want to say one more thing? You had your finger up.
No, it was a peace sign.
Peace sign. All right. Well, peace to everyone out there. Thank y'all for listening, and we'll talk to you in the next one after I get back from Columbia.